I'm announcing that I am retiring a Cardinal officially. I came back home. This is where it all started. I felt that it was only right for me to end my journey, where it started.
It's kind of sad, but I'm going to smile through it. 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Congratulations. No, it's happy. It's happy. I'm going to miss you on the field, Patrick Peterson, but you are a future Hall of Famer, and I'm happy for you. Welcome to the show, and look at you.
Thank you very much. And you see me enjoying my time on the golf course, okay?
Patrick, how good is your golf? How much better is your golf game about to be?
It's going to be a whole lot better now that I have the time to really dial in to my game for American Century and all these celebrity golf tournaments I will be attending coming up.
Who is the worst NFL or athlete golfer that I would think is great, but really is bad?
CK, I only play with good players, so I'm not associating myself with if you're 12 plus handicap. I want to be with somebody that's going to be able to challenge me. So I really can't tell you that, but we all know Charles he's getting better, but his swing is well televised. We got Larry the Cable Guy. He's not an athlete, but he's a celebrity. He's getting better. But I'll just go out on a limb. I'll probably go with Aaron Foster. Sorry, Aaron.
Oh my yikes. Okay, Arian Foster. Maybe he can come work on his golf game with you. It's wild to think 13 years, incredible, prolific career. When you look back on it from that golf cart as you're driving around, what's the thought that comes into your head? What is the defining thought?
That I was able to achieve everything that I set out for myself, far as individually. I wasn't able to accomplish a team goal, which is winning a Super Bowl, but far as individually, I was able to do the things that I set out for myself, far as the Pro Bowls, the All Pros, the All Decades, being recognized as one of the best players to ever play in a Cardinals uniform. So all of those things I felt like I accomplished. So like I said in my press conference, my cement is dry. So I did all I could to be recognized as one of the best.
And 2029 Hall of Famer, hopefully. What's your relationship with that idea?
Oh man, I just let it come. I just let it take it year by year, day by day. If it's in the good Lord's will, I'll be more than happy to receive that gold jacket that nobody can buy.
I don't know if that's the best thing to do though, because you have to sort of want it and put your foot down and say, this is why I deserve it. What would be your case of why you should be a Hall of Famer?
I mean, I don't know how many all-decade players have not been recognized as a Hall of Famer. So I am a 2010 all-decade player. I was recognized as one of the best players in my position at my time of playing, and I feel like that's all of the criteria that you need to represent the Hall of Fame and be able to wear that gold jacket. So I feel I fit all of those criteria.
Hell yes. That's what I wanted to hear. And the all pros and the being a good teammate and the way you impacted the game, of course, as a returner. You were giving Hester a little run for his money for a bit.
I was early on in my career, but then I had other duties to pertain to, and that's playing defensive back, and that ended up paying off pretty well for me as well.
Tell me about your plans moving forward. We love the golf. You're doing that. You've got your First in Pod, All Things Covered podcast. You're doing the media thing. What do you see for yourself?
I want to do more in the media. My goal is obviously, not obviously, but I want to be able to call games one day. I went to the broadcast boot camp in 2022, I believe, and everybody was always telling me how hard it was to adjust to that and how fast it was. But with me being a defensive back, always having to think on my feet, being on my toes, being able to react to any situation that, present itself to me, so I want to call games, one day. So I want to take this media journey, day by day, year by year as well, and do all of the due diligence things that I need to do to better myself. And let's see where it lands me.
And you're taking so much experience with you, taking on the best quarterbacks, 36 regular season interceptions. That is the second most from 2011 to 2023. When people think of Patrick Peterson, what should be the first thing that comes to mind?
A shutdown corner. That's what I was. I was the guy that was called upon week in and week out to take on these number one receivers, without any, complaints or any help or, anything like that. I always was a guy who faced the challenge, faced forward, so a shutdown corner, hands down, never back down from a challenge, always wanted all the smoke.
And you, I mean, that you were, and those are more rare to come by than they used to be in this National Football League. Who's your favorite receiver to match up with?
Who was my favorite receiver to match up with? I'd probably go with.
You can't say Larry.
Yeah, I can't say Larry. I go with Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, just with the history that we had. And my last one, only just because I had the opportunity to go up against him just once. I wish I had more opportunities, but Antonio Brown, man, he was just so different. He played above his shoulders. I don't know what he was listed at as his height, but he played much bigger than that.
What made you say Calvin Johnson first?
Just because I knew it was going to be 3 games in one. I knew Matthew Stafford was going to give him opportunities. I never forget my first time going up against him in this picture, year 2. Matthew Stafford targeted Calvin Johnson 22 times. At the time, that's like 5 games in one. So I never forget how tired I was after the game going up against Calvin Johnson.
That is an insane amount of targets. I have to go back and look at those highlights. It was fun to watch your highlights this morning. You were like a total ball magnet, and you just knew where to find it. You were physical. It was amazing. And you're also like the rare two-way player vibe too. Okay, like the Jags pick Travis Hunter 2nd overall. Do you ever wish, not that you would have regrets, but do you wish you got more offensive touches over the course of your career?
I do. I do definitely wish I had more opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. But, the good Lord didn't want me to do that. Bruce Arians and Coach Ken Wisenhunt did give me the opportunity early on in my career. But it didn't end up, panning out, throughout my career. And the same thing was in college, So in high school, that's all I did. I was a two-way player, throughout my, childhood and high school career. And then when I got to the college level, they only allowed me to play punt return, so then it translated over to the NFL as well. So I was always a two-way player. I always felt that I was better on the offensive side of the ball, but I always thought that I would be able to last longer on the defensive side of the ball.
What would you say, what would your guess be? And I heard some of the things that you said about Travis Hunter, his workload, like he'll have to pick his spots. How do you think this shakes out with him now that we know that he went to the Jags?
It's going to be very interesting because it'll go back to when he was in college. We talked about we never seen a guy go both ways throughout the whole game. He was able to prove that, so it's going to be very interesting. It's hard to say how it's going to shake out, but I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he's able to play, do as much as he want to do because he's a transcending type of player. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, we never seen an athlete that's able to do the things that he's able to do on a consistent basis. So I don't want to put any snap counts on him. I just wish him nothing but the best, whatever endeavors that the Jacksonville Jaguars have planned for him.
I did some snap counts on you this morning, and they're crazy, Patrick. 2013, no, Patrick, we got to talk about this. 2013, you played 38 snaps on offense, 1,074 on defense, and 158 on special teams. I don't know that you're the right person to talk to about managing workload. That is what? What was that?
Yeah, that's almost close to 2,000. Sound like?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So I don't know. I wish him the best, but I don't know if you're the person to talk about load management in the NFL. When we're looking at those highlights of you on offense, on defense, by the way, you threw a pass in there. It's so ridiculous. What is that? Can we show those again, please? When you get the ball in your hand, you are so much fun. What happened to you when you got the ball in your hand?
Man, it was almost like a type of euphoria type moment. It was
Mm.
all like everything was quiet. I was in my own serenity, in my own world, just making it happen. Like going back to the times that I was training, the moments that I thought about this. You know what I mean? That's where, where my mind goes back to and how I feel in that moment.
Uh, it's just insane. And then your speed. Why do you look like you're in fast forward? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah, that's from my mom. Yeah, my mom was a track star in the family, and she blessed me with her speed.
you are on the golf course. You were in Green Bay, though. I saw you announce a few picks there for the
Yep.
Cardinals. What was that like? What was your takeaway from that experience?
And that was pretty cool. To be able to announce Will Johnson and Jordan Beach, Birch, I believe his name was, in the draft. That was a cool opportunity to kind of put me back in the moment when I got my name called. And I had the opportunity to speak with Will after the selection. So the Cardinals did
Mhm.
very well in this draft. So I'm excited to see how it all ended up turning out for him.
Patrick, how far is your next shot? Can you hear me, Patrick?
My next shot is 210. I'm on a par five. I hit it like a nice little three. Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I can just see you. We saw you looking at your yard marker. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I'm about 210 out right now.
I love that.
Yeah, can you hear me? I
Yes,
hear
of
you.
course. We're going over your incredible career. I like that you said that you don't want to go. It's not even a thought to you to go into the Ring of Honor before Larry Fitzgerald. Why is Larry not in the Ring of Honor?
Yeah. I have no idea. I don't think he officially retired yet. And that's the issue.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that said Larry has officially retired. So I don't think he officially retired yet.
So what's this conversation? Because you want him to go in before you, but we have to get the Cardinals have not put
Yeah,
someone into the Ring of Honor in a long time.
I know. I know. It's a couple people going in this year. That's what I heard. I
Okay.
don't know who, but yeah, I don't think Fitzy officially retired just yet.
He hasn't filed any papers. Maybe he's just a procrastinator like me and just doesn't like paperwork, and he doesn't want to do
Right.
it. You're smiling. When did you know that you were done? Like, you're. I'm watching you operate, and it feels
Mhm.
like retirement isn't as hard or something. Is it? Am I
No,
like?
no, retire. Yeah, no, retirement is not hard at all. Yeah,
It's
I knew
not.
I was. No, not for me. I did everything that I wanted to do in this league. Now this
Yeah.
game is up for these young guys to go out and create their own legacy. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to help them create their own journey. You know what I mean? 13 years
Yeah.
in the NFL is quite a long time, especially in this day and age. So I'm very, very satisfied where I'm at in life right now.
When you go into the Ring of Honor, I want the Cardinals to be good. I want them to be
Me
competitive. They've
too.
been
I want to be
ascending.
rolling.
Yeah. They're ascending each year with Jonathan Gannon. They're getting better. Kyler recently said, as far as things having to change, that he needs to run more. What do you make of that?
I just would like him if that's what's going to allow the Cardinals to be successful. I agree because he's very dynamic with his legs. He's very smart with when he is outside of the pocket. We know what they're able to do in the beginning, in the first half of the season. I just want them to be able to close the door in the second half of the season. That's just been the story for the most part for the Arizona Cardinals the last 3 to 4 years.
He's trying to build chemistry with Marvin Harrison Jr. I recently read he's being sort of outspoken about what he wants to do. You've been outspoken. You've just been honest. You've been a good OG veteran and been honest about what you've thought about Kyler Murray. Is there a relationship there? What's the relationship like?
Yeah, there's no relationship there, but there will be. I know that I was a little bit outspoken when I did say certain things, and I was kind of in the wrong. But at the end of the day, I know I'm a man, he's a man, and I definitely want to make that better. Because at the end of the day, that was just talked out of frustration. That could have been something that me and him could have been able to, talk about. And he'll tell you, I left a note in his locker room when I left. You know what I mean? Just
Really?
telling him, yeah, just telling him how the team is going to be as successful as he leads them to. And I just saw some things from afar that I seen in the locker room, and that's just where that came from. But he has been doing a much better job of his body language, his leadership, and it's just going to continue to make that team that much better because they follow his every move, and he just have to understand that.
So you see a bit of a different Kyler now than you saw a few years ago.
100%. 100%.
Oh, I love hearing that, and I can't wait for you to get back there and maybe even be a mentor, a sounding board for him. And I hope that they get better and better as they are. In your division, your old division now, there's big news today. Kittle got paid. You've had your battles with Kittle. He got paid, and now Brock Purdy's up. You did face him once before. You know quarterbacks. You're the perfect person to ask. How good or how great of a quarterback is he?
Brock Purdy is a very efficient quarterback. He's haven't been asked to do a lot just yet, so he does enough to win. He does what the offense call upon him to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the 49ers have the quarterback that they feel that can help them win ball games. And you can't fault a team or their system if they have a guy that fits their bill.
You're going to be in a broadcast booth or on a desk or something. $50 million is what they're saying. You think he's a $15 million guy?
Honestly, no. But what these quarterbacks are going for right now, that's kind of like the going rate. That's like the minimum.
Let's take a look really quick. We just have a couple seconds. Let's take a look at the list. Where would you slot him in this list, Patrick? Last question for where would you're seeing that this is, the cost. Where would you put him?
I mean, yeah, if you're looking at this, you got to put him above Trevor Lawrence. And honestly, he's gonna have to. Honestly, if you're looking at the numbers, he's probably gonna have to be above Josh Allen too because he's been in the Super Bowl. So he's getting at least 50.
He's getting at least 50. You say, yeah. So that's just the mark. You don't think
I mean, I wouldn't pay him that. You asked me if I would pay him that. I wouldn't, but he's probably going to get 50.
Okay, Patrick Peterson, I hope you have an amazing 210-yard shot. I hope you enjoy every minute.
I'm about to hit it right now.
Then you're going to get back to work into a broadcast booth or on a desk. Thanks for stopping by and congrats on your career.
Thank you very much for having me, Kate.